Alright guys, hope you're doing well. So in this video we're going to talk about the basics of the slow and fast oxidizer diet. It was a question I got on YouTube, and yeah, many thanks for the feedback that I've been getting on YouTube recently. Now I've sort of started making more YouTube videos. So if you do have questions, write them in the comments. I might not get around to all of them on a video, but I'll definitely pick some for future videos. So, if you go to www.hairanalysis.report, which is our hair analysis application, and go to /shopping-list, I've actually made this simple page. I made it a while ago, actually. I am going to update it a little bit. Basically, going over the basics of the mineral balancing diet. So, I'm just going to dive straight in. And yeah, the question was specifically talking about fast oxidizer and slow oxidizer diets. They're pretty much the same, apart from a few small nuances. So, step one. So what I've done here as well, I've got a little button here where you can turn on sort of occasional foods and extra information, which I will talk about. So step one, 70 to 80% of cooked vegetables. Pressure cook is preferred. Steam is okay, do not roast, bake or fry. I appreciate this is frustrating, the do not roast, bake or fry. It's not like the end of the world if you do it now and again. The biggest reason for not allowing this is that what happens when you roast, bake and fry vegetables and meat, etc., is that it tends to cook oils at a very high heat. And that is quite irritating to the body, and it's quite, it sort of like feeds candida. And most people have got candida overload at the moment. So the cleanest way really to cook food and to extract the most nutrients is by pressure cooking or steaming the food. Originally, it used to be just steam, and then Larry Wilson introduced the pressure cooker, and I definitely think it was an improvement to the program because pressure cooking food is much nicer than steam, in my opinion. Some people still steam, and it's quicker. It takes like around 10 minutes from start to finish to pressure cook vegetables. With a steamer, you're talking more, 20 minutes up to 30 minutes. Yeah, so it's much better. Now, the diet can get boring. I mean, if you look at this shopping list, you'll notice that it's very heavy on onions. I wouldn't worry about that too much. I am going to change it around a little bit because there's no need. There's no need to just have all of these onions on there. I mean, in simple terms, basically any vegetable is gonna do. However, try and stay away from nightshade vegetables. Things like peppers, etc. Because they can be quite irritating. They do have a slight toxin in them. So stay away from nightshades. Stay away from really starchy vegetables, which is not that many of them, but I will talk about that in a minute. Sweet potatoes is really starchy. Cassava is really starchy. But yeah, I mean, sometimes people look at this list and just think, focus on all of the onions, etc. And again, I am going to change it because don't worry about it. Just basically, any vegetable is gonna get you healed, and that's the most important thing that we're wanting to focus on, really, is healing people. And yeah, I mean, this again, this is more advanced stuff, but I won't worry about that too much about being anal about all this stuff. I am gonna change it soon. So yeah, basically, the idea is to just chop up, like 8, 9, 7, 8, 9 vegetables at once, throw it in a pressure cooker, cook it, and then add some animal protein, a little bit of sea salt, etc. But yeah, I mean, I have added on here actually 2 asterisks. So a lot of people are really sensitive to sugars and carbohydrates. You hear me talk about it actually a lot recently. So sometimes these can actually be causing more harm than good. So anything with like 2 asterisks next to it, beets, parsnips, yams, they are more starchy vegetables, and they can actually cause some problems for some people. All right, so step 2, animal protein. So you want to add these to at least 2 meals a day. If you add it to 3 meals a day, it's okay as well. Which we do say try not to eat red meat more than twice a week. I can go into that in another video, but you know it is linked to cancer, but you can go deep on that. It's more linked if you're just eating lean meat. You know, you want to be eating sort of things like thighs and you know, a bit of ligaments and stuff. But we do say, you know, limit your red meat. But white meat, you know, poultry, chicken, turkey, etc. You know, you can eat much more often. And then there's other red meats like beef, game meat, etc. And then you got things like sardines, eggs. So 2 to 3 meals a day. You know, you want to be adding. You know, if 70 to 80% is cooked vegetables, you want to be adding sort of like, you know, 15%. You know, animal protein. Probably a fistful, like your fist, is probably about right, really. Step 3. So this is again sort of something that Dr. Wilson added. Personally, I don't think it's particularly needed. 2 tablespoons of almond butter per day. One of the issues with almond butter is that, again, similar to the carbohydrates and sugar issue, people can be quite sensitive to it, and it's very, very easy to overdo. So in these cases, I just say, you know, eat, you know, animal protein 3 times per day. I am going to be releasing like a series soon, as soon as I can, about sort of mineral balancing and going from start to finish and going over everything. You know, this is just a short video, but going over everything when it comes to like cooking foods, things to look out for, pitfalls, you know, how to slowly integrate yourself into the program, healing reactions, all that sort of jazz. And I will switch this around a bit. But this is basically the diet that Dr. Wilson recommends at the moment. And you know, most practitioners that follow that sort of type of mineral balancing will recommend this. But I'm just basically saying, look, you don't have to be too anal about finding 10 onions. Do you know what I mean? It's overkill. You know, you're still going to heal. You know, don't be too anal about, you know, having a 1/4 inch of celery twice a day. You know, you're still going to move forwards. All right, so and then grains. I mean, this is sort of like the biggest issue for a lot of people. I find is that it's very, very easy to overdo grains because they taste nice. So you know, we do recommend, you know, blue corn chips as like a grain that's you know, very healthy. It's got a very specific form of selenium in it, which is very hard to find. So you probably hear about us talk about blue corn chips quite a lot. The problem with blue corn chips is they come in like big bags. You can't get them in small ones. So you will find that it's, you know, once you've had 10, next minute the bag's gone. And then, you know, a lot of people think, oh, well, it's, you know, they're recommending it. So, you know, why can't I eat a bag? The more the better. Do you know what I mean? It's all healthy. But at the end of the day, it will, you know, spike your blood sugar levels, etc. So you have got to be quite strict when it comes to this section. But there's other grains recommended, you know, oats, rye, steel cut oats, millet, quinoa, barley, rye, etc. You'll see that everyone has got a asterisk, 2 asterisks next to it, just to give you an indicator that they are, you know, they do convert into sugars rapidly because they are grains. So it you know, can be an issue for people. And then salt. So we do recommend a sprinkle of sea salt on your food. You know, the one that we recommend is Hawaiian bamboo jade. Hain is also a good one. In the past, real salt was recommended, but that got changed to Hawaiian bamboo jade. And I suppose really this is what the this is what this video was all about, is you know, the difference between fast oxidizer diets and slow oxidizer diets. So this is the only difference really. So with the fast oxidizer diet, we want people to add extra fat and oil onto their food. You know, 1 to 2 tablespoons, so a couple of, you know, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, you know, 2 tablespoons of cream, maybe tallow oil, egg yolk, etc., etc. The reason being is that fats and oils will tend to, reduce the oxidation rate. So obviously, if you're a slow oxidizer, you don't want to be adding a lot of extra fats and oils onto your meals, because the idea in slow oxidation is to raise the oxidation rate, and adding extra fat and oil is going to lower it. And vice versa, if you don't add extra fat and oil onto your foods and you just keep it sort of plain like the slow oxidizer diet, there's a tendency for the oxidation rate to not fall as much, or in some cases it can increase. So you might be asking, well, where do slow oxidizers get the fats and oils from? Well, they get it from the animal protein that they're eating 3 times, 2 to 3 times per day. So that's the only difference, really. The biggest issue really is, sometimes the slow oxidizer diet can taste quite bland because you're not really adding anything onto it. You can add a little bit of butter on it to taste, I find. And then you sort of get a sliding scale with the diet. Some people are quite happy just to eat really plain. Some people freak out because they want recipes, etc. In terms of recipes, I don't know if it's on there now, but I best quickly just check. I don't want to waste your time too much. But Susan Cachay did make a recipe book. So we'll see if we can quickly find it. Let's see. Here we are. So yeah, if you go to Susan Cachay nutritioncounselling.com and then click on shop, down here you can get free ebooks. So recipes for the development diet and fun nutritional balancing recipes ebook. Yeah, I mean, the world's your oyster really when it comes to recipes. I mean, my partner, she likes watching Joe Wicks on Instagram. I mean, he actually does some pretty good meals, and you can make them nutritional balancing friendly. So it depends what sort of scale you are on. But that is something that I do want to try and integrate into this series that I'm planning on making. Is some recipes that are enjoyable. So one thing I want to end on is that when I was doing the program, the recommendation was mono meals when it comes to vegetables. So basically, what that means is just eat one vegetable per meal with your animal, with basically everything else on the program. So it would be one plate of cauliflower, and then your protein, your salt, etc. And then the next meal it might be a plate of broccoli, and the next meal it might be a plate of carrots, and the next meal it might be a plate of onions, whatever. And then now the recommendation is a medley of vegetables. Now what ended up happening is that Dr. Wilson ended up finding out that people were just literally eating the same vegetable. So they would just constantly eat broccoli, for example, which wasn't the recommendation. It was like you have to switch it around for obvious reasons, because you're not going to get like a full range of nutrients. So it was like, right, chop everything up and eat it like that. I personally find that the mono meal method was easier on the digestion, and that was one of the reasons why it was recommended. For some people who I think are very chronically struggling, who might be hitting a wall, I will recommend them to sort of go onto the mono meal version, which is just lighter on the digestion. The body's not having to digest so many different types of vegetables. Some are softer, some are harder than others, etc., etc. So that's one caveat that probably people are not aware of, especially people that are just beginning. So that's everything. It's just a short overview, but I just wanted to basically talk about the dietary differences. You can go way deeper on all of this stuff when it comes to the diet, on the reasons why things are cooked, and the reasons why there's no fruit, and the reasons why there's only a limited amount. But I think that's for another probably in the series. So that's everything. Thanks for watching.